Hello and welcome to today's video. So this time it's the final part of the vintage penguin barn find. So you may remember a couple of weeks ago I did a video where we showed the first 2 carloads of vintage penguins that were quite literally stored in a barn. This time I went up for one final trip. I picked up the Puffin books and lots of other series as well, Pelicans and main series, all sorts really, penguin classics. We also get to interview Bill, who was the original curator of this incredible collection. We find out when he started, what he was collecting, how he went about it. It's a great little chat with the collection's original owner, which is fantastic. So I do hope you enjoy it. So sit back, relax, and let's get to it. So I just wanted to show you the car before I unloaded it into the studio, and I think I managed to get about 15 boxes back from Bill's, who we're going to speak to in a moment, and this just gives you a little flavour of what was in there. So there's Pelicans, a couple of boxes of them, there was Penguin main series, there was Puffins, 5 or 6 boxes of Puffin books, Puffin storybooks, and some picture Puffins, Penguin English Library, there's some Penguin classics, a real mixture of stuff. And well, we'll have a look at all these boxes in detail in a moment, but yeah, I only just managed to get these stuck in, but I had to leave 2 boxes behind. Right, so this is the first box from the last trip to the barn, and Puffins, pre-ISBN Puffins, right. So the boxes that we're going to be going through today, I've only had a very brief look through, so hopefully there'll be a few surprises in here for us. Love the Paddington books. Now, the thing is with Puffin, they usually vary quite a bit condition-wise, because obviously the books were generally aimed at youngsters. And these B format ones were generally the very young, you know, the very young ones. Nice one there. But I'm hoping that there's a few here that I'm missing. I am missing some Puffin. I haven't got them all by any means. Little Miss Peppercorn. I don't remember that one being in B format. See, oh, that's nice. Look, it's never seen the box set of that. I've seen the books before, but I've never seen the box set. Very nice. So it's, and I thought since this is the last sort of book haul I'm going to be getting for a while, because it's going to take me so long to go through these, I thought we'd have a pretty decent, thorough look through what was in these boxes. That's a great one, that's Starman Jones. Yes, hopefully there's a few in here that I actually do need. I think there probably will be. And lots of classics, of course. I love the run of C.S. Lewis that Puffin published. They're beautiful. There's another one there. My Side of the Mountain. So they very much, like most of this collection, it very much varies condition-wise. Some of it's absolutely beautiful, and some of it is a little bit worn. So it is what it is. Condition wasn't the primary factor. It was more filling in gaps in the collection, I think, really. But yeah, some really nice books here. So I shall be starting a separate section here in the studio for all the Puffin stuff. I've seen that one before, and as you say, some of the books, I mentioned to Bill that some of the books we've ended up with 3 or 4 copies. That's interesting, that Puffin one by Durrell there, with a picture cover. I think there's 5 or 6 boxes of Puffin in total that I brought back with me, so quite a bit to get through. Roger Lanston Green. Certainly most of these I recognise, but not all of them. I think that's one I need. Bookshop on the Quay. They did do some great books, didn't they? Puffin storybooks, they are lovely. Another copy of Starman Jones. Oh, and that one. It always makes me laugh when you see the duplicates. Well, there we are. So it's the first of Mary Poppins. That's the first of about 14 boxes that we got to unpack today. And that was lovely. Right, let's see what's in this one. Penguin main series by the looks of it. A good one on the top there. Corridors apart. It's a pretty nice copy of that one. It almost always turns up with a faded spine. It's a bit of a weird one like that. Yeah, this was a good science fiction, a good period in Penguin history. This, so be interesting to see what's in this box. But yeah, they will be varying degrees of condition, but that's okay. This is all main series. That's good. He did Nairn's London as well. A pair. Year of the Gorilla. These are sort of late 60s titles. Forsyth Saga, that's having a remake. That's a nice one. Connoisseur's Case. A pretty nice copy of that one as well. Life with Picasso. That's actually one I'm missing, and look at the state of it. I guess they were all bought by artists. There may be another one in here somewhere, of course. A bit worn, that one. But yeah, some of these late 60s ones are actually quite scarce, I feel. There's another one. So that's a classic book, and I do have a copy of In Cold Blood. Mine's on the list to upgrade, and that one's is worse than what I've got, sadly, which is a shame, because I think it's quite a scarce one in Penguin First. These are nice, aren't they? And I love the Iris Murdochs. They're great as well. I know. Oh, that's a good one. I know. I did. I didn't do this with all the books that we got from the big collection because there was just so many. There's another one there. But there was Man in High Castle by Philip K. Dick was in there. Another one of my real favourites from this era in Penguin history. Charlie Chaplin. Yes, a few here definitely that I haven't got. Arcade. Another Truman Capote says three in this box. Just a shame In Cold Blood was a bit low grade, because I am after a nice one of that. Because it's my favourite book by him, that and Breakfast at Tiffany's. Nice to see these May Greys. It's a bit low grade. Raymond Chandler. Nice to get all the science fiction. Always pleased to get that. Court of Windsor. Yeah, there was a few later Woodhouses came out in the 60s, and there's some of them tying in with the TV show. That's less common by him. Great Train Robbery. Very low grade. They won't be keeping that one, sadly. Good books these, the early Dick Francis. It's nice to see. I don't know if that's one I've got or not. Scots Fitzgerald. Last ones for this box. John Christopher. Morris F. and Thesiger. Yeah, some good period 60s titles in there. So, yeah, pleased with that box. Right. Puffin and Peacock. Okay. So it's a Puffin picture book and a young Puffin original. Alright. A few sort of B format ones first. So some of these are definitely a bit later, aren't they? Roll down there, that's good. I think there might be, there's some peacocks in here as well. These are all B format. Some of these are really scarce, but not many people collect them. The Roald Dahls are nice though. It's a nice one. Little Plum. Yeah, some of them I recognise, some of them are new to me. I'm missing about 6 peacocks. It'd be nice to think they're in here somewhere. It's one of the Find Your Adventure ones, isn't it? Brainstorm. Yeah, some of these I don't recognise at all. I've never had through my hands before. The Fighting Fantasy. There's a few of those. There's 3 of them now. Murphy's Mob, that rings a vague bell. Blimey. Harry Harrison. So Death Trial, this is number, I can say it's number 6. I think it's the Warlock of Fartop Mountain, I think is the first one. Yeah, so some of these definitely look a little bit 80s, but I know Bill said that he collected these with his daughter. And maybe she picked up books that she just fancied reading, which were a little bit later maybe, in time. Doolittle. Pippa Longstocking. Up with school. Ah, kids' jokes. That's quite nice. I haven't got that one. That'll be in my comic book related collection. Brilliant. Another very interesting box, that. Okay, so Bill, thank you very much for agreeing to speak to us today. I, for one, am really pleased that we will be able to sort of capture the story of your penguin adventures over the years. So can you tell us how you first got interested in starting to pick up penguin books?
Yes. Many years ago, back in the 70s, possibly even earlier, I found a book to read on my parents' bookcase. It was called The Paradigm Case.
Right, yeah.
And I read it, and I enjoyed it, and I wanted to read more, but I hadn't appreciated that it was part one of two.
Indeed, yeah.
And they didn't have part two.
Right, because that is quite an early one, isn't it, that?
140 something.
Yeah.
1938, I believe, or thereabouts.
Yeah, quite an early one, yeah.
A chap called Robert Hitchens. And it was later made into a film.
Right.
But that was a good few years ago as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, the result was some years later, actually, after we'd moved to a house in Surrey and I had some children, we decided I would need to find part two.
After all those years, yeah.
And so, well, I read part one again.
Yeah, refreshed yourself, yeah.
And so we got into the habit of going to jumble sales and such like.
And what sort of time was this? Was this 70s or 80s?
This would be in the 70s and 80s.
70s and 80s,
Probably as much in the 80s, actually, as in the 70s.
Okay. Yeah.
So from the 80s, 70s, 80s, and into the early 90s.
Right.
And then it slowed down a bit as the children got older and left and went their separate ways. And I stopped completely when we moved here, which was in 2002.
Right.
But we brought the books with us, by which time I must have accumulated, I don't know, 4,000.
That's it. That's what we estimate there to be. Yeah. And in your old house, were they all out on shelves at one point?
Almost all of it was on shelves.
Yeah.
We'd had an extension built and one entire wall, and it was quite a big wall.
I can imagine.
And the shelves went from floor to ceiling.
Yeah.
And it was just lined with penguins.
And did you have them in like series order and numerical order?
To start with.
Yeah.
And I remember discussing with my wife, there were fears of nuclear war.
Early 80s, yeah, I remember, yeah.
And one of the suggestions that was put out by the government was that you could use books if you needed to make some kind of shelter in the house.
Oh, wow.
And we thought, well, we're going to be well equipped from that point
of
view.
Well, definitely, yeah. Nothing could get through that lot.
Well, I don't know about that, but they were all. Well, they weren't all, but many of them were on shelves, neatly arranged, and I'm afraid many of them were also unread by me.
Oh, well, it's impossible. I think many collectors we've all got more books than we can possibly read. I know you've sort of said to me it wasn't so much a collection, more of an accumulation.
Yes, it was. I mean, I was organised about it in one sense, in that I prepared on the computer a series of small sheets of paper, which just consisted of numbers. They were penguin book numbers.
Right.
And every time I took this with me when we went to jumble sales.
Yeah.
And if we found one, I could just cross it off.
Right.
So that didn't stop me getting quite a lot of duplicates.
No, well, we've seen that. So I think the most I found of a single book was about four copies of one of them, you know. I think it was number 888, Crime and the Police. That was I found 4 copies of that one, all in pretty nice condition, actually. Yeah. But I suppose if you're coming across them, some would be in, I guess, job lots, so buy the box for £1 or £2, something like that.
Yes, I didn't buy many that way.
No, more individually?
They were mostly bought individually. There was one job lot that I bought at auction.
Okay,
I can't remember what penguins there were in it, but I think I might have mentioned previously there was one book in it that I subsequently, not a penguin, that I subsequently sold for £1,000.
Wow. Wow.
And that's because it was by an American author. It was a draft of some sort. It was bought by a London dealer who hadn't seen it.
Right.
And when I described it, he offered me £1,000. He said it would cost him £1,000 to repair it, etc., etc., and he'd sell it for £3,000. I don't know whether that's how it worked out.
Yeah, wow.
I didn't complain. It was one more book not to bring here.
Yeah, true, yeah. And I guess a nice profit then on that one.
Well, yeah, it's quite a surprise.
Yeah.
But we didn't accumulate them for profit.
No.
And my older daughter, also got very encouraged with all this and started collecting puffins.
That's right, yeah, I remember you mentioned that. So she's the daughter who now lives in Washington?
She lives in Washington State, not, Washington
not DC,
on the West Coast.
I see, right.
Actually, she's in Oregon rather than...
Right.
But yes.
Okay, and she was picking up the puffins, I guess, because it appealed to her age range. Lots of books she could actually read and enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The children have all been readers. They had to be.
They've grown up in a library, in effect. Yeah, absolutely. Same as my children. Yeah, my kids are like that.
But just to come back to the point, I call it an accumulation because I wasn't really going out for any particular objective except to find one that I hadn't found before.
Yeah, yeah.
And there was no long-term motive.
No.
Which we realised when we came to move 20 years ago. And I had all these books to back up.
This is it. It is a genuine concern for people, and we've sort of discussed it a little bit on the channel about what to do, when you're heading towards retirement or something like that. Do you start to downsize? I think a lot of collectors do start to. Even now, at my age, in my mid-50s, I've started to get rid of my old toy collections because I think, well, what have I got this for now? I'm never ever going to put them out on display.
Yes.
But the books I'm finding harder to get rid of, to say, because I'm enjoying them so much. And I think I've always thought to myself, well, right into my retirement, as long as I can still see, I'll be able to read books and enjoy books.
Yes.
I hopefully have the strength always to pick up a book and read it. And I look at my dad today, he's in his late 80s now. And, in hospital, in fact, I took him up a couple of Father Brown books, Chesterton. Absolutely loved them. It was him who introduced me to Hornblower through his Penguin collection, the C.S. Foresters.
Oh, right.
And I love those books, and naval fiction in general I really like. And also on the pan side, it was my mum's collection of Agatha Christie's that sort of got me into her, and also collecting pans. So I can see the attraction sort of to collect them starts when you're quite young. It sort of sows a seed. I didn't really I think with Penguin in particular, they did the numbering so well. It was almost like a bit of a red rag to a bull. You try and get them all. Clever marketing. I mean, all the publishers were doing it back then, pre-ISBN, weren't they? They all numbered it, but Alan Lane seemed to nail it right from book number 1, didn't he?
Yes, you're right. I think that was part of the attraction in a way. It was very easy to codify or identify. The
what
next 10 or the next 100 or whatever.
Absolutely. I mean, we've come across your copy of the Penguin story, and that's got the first, just over 1,000 in it, hasn't it? And certainly when I started collecting, that was sort of my Bible, really. I know it's not 100% accurate. It doesn't list some of the variations and stuff, but I've still got my copy from when I started collecting, where I've used a ruler and I've crossed them out as I've been finding them. But I imagine it was a lot. I didn't start really collecting them not properly until the early 90s, but I did start picking them up in the 80s, but I was still, I was finishing school sort of early 80s, around the time of the Day of the Triffids TV show, which was about 1980, 81, the BBC adaptation.
I don't know when that was.
Yeah, pretty early 80s, I think it was. And that was, of course, a Penguin, and it was in my school library. And I read that, and that led me to the other John Wyndhams.
I was going to say that was John Wyndham, wasn't it? And,
that's right, still a favourite of mine. And that was the Penguin thing again. So I realised it was just such a good publisher. And that's what's made me, pick them up ever since, really. Sort of they're my main hobby, I guess, nowadays, is penguins.
Well, it opens up potentially so many different avenues,
Yeah,
whether it's the books
yeah.
or whether it's the topics that the book's about. I mean,
Yeah.
forget about the novels, all the other books published
All
by
the
the
non-fiction
Penguin.
stuff, the specials. We were just talking about the Pelicans
Yep.
and what good stuff was in there. Also, it's such an interesting publisher when you look at the characters who were behind it, who were there at the start. That's also part of the attraction for me. How they got through the war years, which was obviously really tough. They did better than most. Their wartime output is particularly fascinating for me. But I like it all right up to, the 60s stuff, and then selected stuff onwards from the 70s onwards that I like. But the even the 60s has got it. When you look at them now, they're 60 odd years old. They're real timepieces for the era. So the whole range from, for me, 35 to 70 is a fantastic period to collect in if you've got the space for it.
Yes.
Which is the biggest problem, that does seem to be the space. So apart from the Paradigm Case, I mean, did you have any favourite authors you liked to read when you came across them in Penguin? Do you think, oh, that's a new one I haven't tracked down yet or read yet?
I certainly enjoyed some of the things like Agatha Christie.
Yeah.
Crime books I
In general,
tended to enjoy. I can't think of specific authors at the moment, but and also spy stories,
Okay,
that kind of thing.
Yeah. So the only reason really you stopped was because you realised how much you'd amassed when you ended up moving house, yeah?
We moved house.
Yeah.
We don't have the jumble sales around here.
No.
The children had fled home. Left home.
Left home, yeah.
And we had plenty of other things to do.
Yeah.
It was a family occupation as much as my individual hobby. At least a family occupation in terms of finding them.
Yeah.
Not necessarily coding them or putting them onto a spreadsheet or whatever.
Yeah.
But
that is so much part of the fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
With collecting them. Yeah, no. I understood. Well, and what would you say? So the collection, it's taken 3 carloads, but we've just about got most of it back home. What would you, because the collection's now going to be sorted, and over the next probably 12 months, I'm going to end up, the books are going to go right around the world. What would you say to anyone who ends up with some books from your collection?
Enjoy
them, yeah.
Whether you enjoy it because you're reading it, or because you're collecting them,
Yeah.
or just because you're inquisitive, curious.
There's so much joy to be had in collecting Penguin books.
Well, there's such a, I mean, with any publisher, I suppose that's the case, but there's such a huge variety of topics, forgetting about the novel side of it, the special series, the handbooks, the Pelicans, etc., etc. There's just so much that's potentially of interest.
Oh, absolutely. I do remember back in the 90s, you remember the Archbishop of Canterbury's envoy, Terry Waite?
Yes.
Well, he was free at the time. Obviously, he'd been released after 5 years, and he'd written a book, Taken on Trust, which was his experiences basically of being chained to a radiator as a hostage for 4 or 5 years. And I was working in the book trade at the time, and it was my job to look after him when he came to Plymouth to do the signing.
Right, yeah.
Just pick him up from the station and that. For whatever reason, the rep wasn't around. And I thought, well, I better read the book at least. So I did read it, and it was fascinating. But there was a bit in it where he says he was begging his captors for something to read, desperate for something to read. He said, please send me some books. So about a week later, he would only be visited once a week by the people in charge. A week later, they came in and it was a box of books, but they're all in Arabic. And he said, well, that's no good. I need English books. So English books, please get me some English books. A week later, they came back. It was a box of penguins.
Oh,
and
really?
he said his heart rose because just seeing that they were penguin books, he knew that he had a box of quality there that he was going to enjoy. And I asked him about that at the time. I said that was such a good moment because I love collecting penguins. He said, I'd love to get those books back. I can remember most of them. I said, well, let me put you in touch with the Penguin Collectors Society. I'm sure they'll be able to track them down with you. And I gave him the address of the society. So whether he did or not, I'm not sure. But I never forget that. And I think that sums up what a great publisher Penguin was, because someone like that, who obviously knew the brand, was a very educated fellow, that would probably get me through a long time if I had to be chained to a radiator.
Yes.
If I had a box of penguins next to me that I could absorb, that would be fantastic.
Yes.
So it would help me get through a tough time.
Better than looking out of a window all the time.
Absolutely, yeah.
If there was one.
Well, indeed, yeah. I can't remember now, but yeah. Well, anyway, thank you very, very much for that, Bill. It's been an absolute pleasure to get to know you, and obviously thank you for the books. As I said, they'll be going on to many collectors, probably all around the world.
Thank you for taking an interest in my books.
No, not at all. It's been fantastic, and
I hope they go to good homes.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. Yeah.
Some of them, anyway.
Well, absolutely, and well, there's been plenty for myself. I've upgraded books. I've found books I was missing.
Okay, good.
And I'm sure there's those odd Pelicans I'm missing.
Yes.
I'm hoping they're in the 2 or 3 boxes we've managed to squeeze into the car. Yeah, and then the stuff we haven't got, well, the charity shops will do very well on the back of that, won't they?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, brilliant. Well, thank you once again, Bill. That's brilliant.
Thank you.
Right, next box, and it is Pelicans. Right, so this is the first of the Pelicans that I brought back from the collection. Unfortunately, I had to leave behind 2 boxes because I just ran out of space in the car. So they were later ones, which are heading to the local charity shop. So let's have a look at these. I don't often get many Pelicans through my hands, and personally, I generally only collect up to about number 600 or so. But there appears to be a bit of a mixture here, which is fine. Some of them absolutely brilliant. These sorts of ones, I just think they're fantastic. I do need a handful in the first 600 to finish my set. 6 or 7, I think, now. Not many. So they may be in here, which would be cool. Some of these I don't recognise because they're ISBN, which is a little bit later than I collect on these. Yeah, so not the really, really early ones by the look of it, but some early ones. It's laminated, that's quite low grade, so that won't be going anywhere. Yeah, it sure was an interesting collection. Yeah, these are the really nice ones. Very much enjoy those. Victorian underwear, but that's good. Some of these I will end up keeping, these later ones, just because the subjects look good. But as I said, yeah, we didn't have room in the car. Had to leave a couple of boxes behind, which was a shame, but the local charity shop is where they're heading. Yeah, these are quite the mixture. There's at least 2 boxes of Pelican in this collection, so there will definitely be more to come of these, and hopefully the ones I'm missing will be in here. With a bit of luck, I couldn't tell you the titles of what they are. Continental Commitment. That's quite a nice one. That's by Arthur C. Clarke, the science fiction author. Yeah, so this is early science fiction, but yeah, that was released as a Pelican. I think he famously predicts mobile phones in that particular book, as I recall. Yeah, good stuff. Another good one. Yeah, these later ones I'm very unfamiliar with. I've never really chased them. In the collection that I got last year, there was a run of the first 1,000 Pelicans, complete. 1 to 1,000, but I didn't want them because I only collected 600 and I had most of them anyway, and I believe that seller still has them. So if you're interested in a set of the first 1,000 pelicans, I think I know someone who may have them. Anyway, yeah, quite nice to see those. Right. Puffins. And these look like earlier ones to me. Really nice. Yeah, but we've not seen any of the really early ones yet. At least not many. Well, that's under 100, so I think we're heading in the right direction. Really nice, these early ones. Oh, there's a couple of earlier ones. I think it's the first 12 that had the old style. It's Prince Caspian. Horse and his boy, a little, needs a bit of a pressing, that one. Some of these we saw in the last box, didn't we? Yeah, a few of these got stored and they got a bit rippled. I noticed it when I was up there. And these particular ones have got a little bit of a ripple on, so we'll see if they sort themselves out over time or not. Yeah, it's a shame that, because look, that may never come back, to be honest. It's a shame. So those, I say, have been damaged in storage, sadly. A few of those. But there we are. I suppose when you've got so many to store, the old book is going to get damaged. It is inevitable. It's another nice one. Super grand. So much Ronald Searle in the 60s. Melissa Ann, famous one. Bit low grade, that one. Another one of the fighting fantasies. That was the science fiction one. Couple that got rippled again. Let's go over this side. There's the anniversary edition of the first Puffin. 40 years of Puffin books. That's great, aren't they? Really nice. That's a nice one. That's the combined edition. Puffin had already printed them separately, and they put the two together. It's a nice edition, that. And the last few in this box is these. Brilliant. Gotta love Puffin's storybooks. No way other way around it. Right, so miscellaneous Puffin and Peacock. Cool. So the Peacock list was sort of designed for teenagers. Some of it came from the main adult list, just with a teenager's cover on. great book. And good to see some of these Roald Dahls. I haven't got them all, so good to get some of these in early editions. So this is all B format size. Some of these I do recognise. Some of them are new to me. Picture Puffins. Oh, Captain Pugwash. Pugwash aloft. Morris Sendick. When was this Pugwash book then? Was this early 70s? No, well, 17.5p. So yeah, it would be, wouldn't it? Yeah. Published in Picture Puffins 1970. They had done another Pugwash book before that, I'm certain of that. But that's nice to see. There's a few more here. Parts of the Spanish Main. Oh, Eric Carle, he did The Very Hungry Caterpillar. There's another Pugwash there. This is Pepper Pot. These are quite nice, aren't they? Artisoni, yeah, I think we saw that last time. Nice Wombles, they're good. I've been picking up the Wombles books. They're celebrating their anniversary. So when's this? This must be mid-70s, I'm guessing. So maybe 74, 75. 74 is a reprint. It was first published in 73, and it looks like it's an adaptation of one of the TV episodes, which were great. So nice to get those. They were good. Didn't expect any of those in there. That one's been hard-backed. Quite nicely done as well. See, that was in the adult list, the Elephant Bill. I said I had no idea what was in these. It looks like there's more picture books at the bottom. Yeah, I think the missing peacocks must be in this collection because there's so many. Oh, that's Penguin Education. That's a separate pile. That one missed quality control. Right, yeah, some more picture books here. So, a Puffin Easy Reader. Ping. These are the sorts of books that are scarce, but who collects them? I mean, I don't know. The Picture Puffins are nice though, they're good. Unusual to get so many. Another Artisoni. Three Little Pigs. Printer book. Yeah, classic nursery rhymes. Strange things to do and make. It's quite nice with the puffin with a little hat on. Smells. Things to do with them. Cool. Okay, so it's the next day and I've realised I've got 2 more boxes here in the studio. I've still got another 6 to do in the house. So I'm going to do just a couple here this morning and try and do the rest this afternoon once I brought them all in. So this appears to be more... some more puffins. Whether there's any peacocks in here as well, I don't know. This is all new to me. Look at this, not seen this before. The Puffins story box for 5 to 7 year olds. I've never seen that before. I do like a good box set. Some of the B format bits. Oh, wombles. Loads of these I've never actually even seen before. It's not a period I've collected much of, although I've got a few sort of favourites that I remember reading as a kid myself. Ted Hughes there. I'm sure there's lots of nostalgia for some people watching today with this sort of stuff. There's another box set here, Mrs. Pepperpot. That's cool. Not seen that one before. The one I'm after is still the Paddington box set. There's two actually. I haven't got around to getting either of them yet. Look at that Blue Peter Cambodia appeal, that one. Okay. So this is more the Rats of Nim. Yeah, a fair bit here post ISBN. Certainly some authors I'll be happy to pick up. They even got the youngsters doing crossword puzzles. Wow, it's going to be a long time sorting this lot out, I'll tell you that. But that's fine, we don't mind. American football, wow. A couple of nice ones there, the Ursula K. Le Guins, they're really nice those. Another little stack. I said I got no idea what's in any of these. It's nice, isn't it? Tom's Midnight Garden. More Wombles. Quite a few of them, which is good. Oh, and another one. Same author, Beresford. That's cool, isn't it? Very thin little book. Cat Weasel. Brilliant. A bit low grade those, and another fighting fantasy. The Half Men. That's another one. Oh, and that's another one of the science fiction ones. 8 Days of Luke. Now the Ghost of Metal Hill. I remember watching that as a kid. That's a pretty good one. Does this date from 1977? Yeah. and the beach cameras. Well, there we are, another very, very interesting box. I've got one more to do. That's here with me right now in the studio. Right. So this was a bit of a miscellaneous box, but quite a few plays in here. This is quite nice. I've never seen this before, the Penguin Book of Chess. I think it's like early to mid 80s, but quite nice with the book and the set. It's never been used, that. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty nice. And Spike Milligan one as well, one I've not seen. Then, yeah, so this is, I think, going to be predominantly plays and sort of classics, I think. I don't have many plays, so I was pleased to get these in actual fact. Yeah, and some more classics, which is always a welcome sight. Absolutely love the classics. There's a few I'm missing. Lots that other people are looking for, so it'll be good to get some spares. Penguin Shakespeare. They're good as well. There's quite a few of those I'm missing. I ought to be splitting these as we go along. So that's plays, and plays. I'm just going to go back and put these into piles. So that's plays. We'll put the classics over there. And that's all Penguin plays. And Shakespeare will pop down there. That's nice. That's one I don't recognise. That's a play. Oh yeah, Somerset Maugham. New Penguin Shakespeare. That's Penguin Classics. These are nice. That's Shakespeare. That's plays. Classics again. It's in a wrapper, that one. Very nice. Some good stuff here. That's a poetry, of course. Separate pile again for poetry. There's the very first classic. Should we see if it's a first print or not? Yeah, first print 1945. So that was the first ever regular Penguin Classic. Pretty nice condition as well. Canterbury Tales. Yeah, I'm certain a few of these I haven't got, so I'm very pleased to get some of these. New Shakespeare and Old Shakespeare. So again, not got a lot of the Shakespeare stuff in my collection. Just bits and pieces as it's come my way, really. So these are poetry. That's poetry. That's an early one. Poetry and poetry. Yeah, Penguin Modern Poets. Oh, look at that. That's a poetry, but it's missing. The cover's detached, sadly. That's going to not survive the cut, I'm afraid. That's modern poetry, yeah. That's the first ever poetry book. It's a bit hammered. And poetry and poetry. Yeah. Classic there. Very nice, those two. And the last little bit. Classic. Yeah. Oh, these are really good. Very, very nice indeed. Well, that was a nice box, wasn't it? Some really interesting stuff in that one. So that's all I've got in the studio right now. I've got to bring up the last 6 boxes to unpack those. Right then, so I've got 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I've got 5 boxes left till we're done. And look at this, another box of Puffins. I thought we were all done with them. This one does appear to be some earlier ones. So, well, let's have a little look. Yeah, I wasn't sure we had any Puffins left to come. So that's good to see. You wouldn't believe the pile of Puffins that I can see just down there. It's just incredible. There's a few of these have been a little bit bent in their storage, so they might need to be sorted out. Let's go on that. Yeah, some nice books here. If we can get them tidied up okay, they'll be all right. One of the Moomins. Yep, some of these I definitely recognise from the last sort of batch of Puffins I had from the collection last year, and some of these 70s ones as well. But like all the boxes, they are varying in condition. Some are definitely better than others, but that was just how this collection was, wasn't it? That's a great book, that Stuart Little. Yeah, some nice stuff here. Great cover, that one, isn't it? Lothian Run. Yeah, a good old mixture, you could say. Not all in the best of shape, but, you know, I'm not going to complain. Love the Moomin books. I said these are all bonus. I didn't think we had any more Puffins to come, to be honest. Yeah, not quite the beautiful copies that we had last year, which I've still got some of, actually. The beautiful 70s ones they were virtually file copies, weren't they? Almost bought from new, I think. These have definitely been through the second-hand used market, shall we say, but, you know, I'm sure there's some stuff in here that is of interest to some people. Brilliant. Well, that's all good. It's an interesting box. Right, next box. Main series. Right. Well, they're packed slightly differently as well, so let's see how we get on. It's pretty worn, isn't it? If I see anything that's obviously really worn, I'll just pop it to one side. It's nice. But they really do vary from really nice to questionable, shall we say, to probably not salvageable. particularly later ones, unless it's something super rare, it has to be of a decent quality, or no one's really going to want it, sadly. But hopefully there won't be too much like that. Mike's more penguin science fiction. Yeah, they really do vary, these books. Condition wise. Well, there we are. That's level 1. And we got the same again. Let's move them up there. But hopefully, some of the ones that I'm missing from my run of about 80, between 1,000 and 3,000, will be in here. I'm sure there'll be some. And I, for one, will be very happy. Because picking these books off one by one off eBay is not a lot of fun, I can tell you that. Which is why it's nice to have wants lists of, books that people are looking for. Because then I can fill them. So if you're watching this, see, that took me so long to get a nice copy. That's a pretty nice copy of that. If you're watching this and you say, oh, I wouldn't mind that one or this one, get a list together, drop me an email, and I'll do what I can do. It's nice. That's not. What a mixture. They really are quite the mixture. I'm not 100% sure where these main series books are going to go, because I am just about out of room. I can tell you that. The studio is packed here. That's why I'm giving them the little once through before I put them with the other ones. Simply because space is at a premium. Anyway, that was another very good box. Right, just 3 boxes to go, and Pelicans. Well, we thought there were some more Pelicans, so I wonder if this is more the earlier ones. Well, that's certainly reasonably early, wartime one. Yeah, so this looks like some of the early ones. In fact, this one here is one of my favourite ones, the Pyramids of Egypt. That's really nice, that one. Wow, that's a huge one, isn't it? And it's interesting to see some of these later Pelicans, because it's not a series I've collected. There's Pelican number 2 in a wrapper. It's not a series I've collected past number 600. So there's so much here I'm not really familiar with. These are all like new books to me, which is great. Those ones are beautiful, of course. With the Pelicans, they do need to be tip-top shape on the whole to be warranted into people's collections. And generally when you find them on catalogues, they're only ever like £1 or £2 really. It's a very cheap series to collect, is the old Pelicans. Really nice, those. I don't know how popular they are nowadays with collectors, but certainly most, penguin collectors do have a few in their runs. very much Alan Lane's idea of being the popular educator. That's what he wanted it to be, and the pelicans fit the bill perfectly. Yeah, so this is a really interesting one because this one here, Watching Birds, was supposedly released as a Forces Book Club, that particular one, but no one's got a picture of it in Forces Book Club covers. So every time I see a copy of that book going forward, I'm going to be checking it out to see if there's anything more to it, including my own copy, to be honest. Yeah, so fingers crossed some of the 8 or so that I'm missing are going to be in here. I don't need many. Oh, there's another one. So is this the same printing? Yeah, it is. Yeah. What we're really looking for is a reprint, a wartime reprint, which might say Forces Book Club in. Something along those lines is what we're looking for. And since this collection has included some reprints, you never know. It's worth double checking. Yeah, some good titles here, isn't there? It is such a great list, the Pelican list. That was a good series, History of the English Peoples. The Aztecs of Mexico. Well, 2 more to go. This is a nice one. This one is a book on plastics, and the cover has got a laminated jacket on it, which none of the other pelicans around it had. It was to demonstrate the use of plastic. Right, another good box. Right, just 2 boxes left now, so we're almost at the end. And what is in here? Pelicans. Well, I thought we'd done them all, but evidently not. Blimey. I have rapidly ran out of space on some of these. But that's okay. I still am looking and hoping that we find a copy of Blue Angels and Whales, which is a Pelican special. Haven't seen one in here. That's a coverless, that one. No point keeping those. Yeah, some early ones here. A few wartime pelicans. And some later ones. Oh, they're steady on. Lovely. Come on, Blue Angels and Whales, you can do it. You can be in this collection. The Bleak Age. Fish lore. Okay. Well, I can't see it. It's not jumping out at me. Oh, there's a services edition, reading for profit. So I'll pop that to one side. That's a coverless one. Nice. There it is. Yay. So why did I enjoy this one so much? So first of all, it's a nice copy because it's in its wrapper. Immediately, I think this one's better than my own copy. It's got beautiful wood engravings by Robert Gibbons. It's just one of my favourite early Pelicans. I absolutely love this. But it came out as a special, a Penguin special, but as a Pelican special. And it's just a really gorgeous book. As you can see, all the little woodcuts in it. Superb. And that first page is a masterpiece. I love this here around the Penguin books. Really, really nice. Yes. Very pleased to see a copy of that one in there because, as I said, my copy is not the greatest, so that's a real good upgrade there. That one's damaged. Same with that one. Looks like they've been remaindered or something, doesn't it? Yes, I think there's a very strong chance that the missing pelicans that I'm after are actually in this collection. Definitely some of them will be. Oh, another copy of The Weather. Now, I think this is a reprint, you know. In which case, I wonder if it's... Yes, a second impression. But is it a Forces Book Club? No, it doesn't say printed for the Forces Book Club anywhere. It just says second impression. That would have been around the time, you know. But this is the book that is missing from the checklist of Forces Book Club titles. So, well, there we are. There's a bit of evidence there, and we can't see anything to say that the second printing is a Forces Book Club edition. So where are they? I do not know. What we now need is a third print or a specific Forces Book Club printing, in which, you know, I guess if that existed, someone would have found it by now. So, well, interesting box, some good stuff there. Right, the final box. And then when we've done this, we will have a little look through and see how everything is shaping up here in the studio. And this is the Penguin English Library. At least that's what it looks like on top, which is fantastic because I absolutely love this series. And there's plenty that I'm missing. So whether they're all English Library, we don't know. That's also main series. So I'll put the English Libraries over there. Looks like English Library was just on the top. Huh. Yes, I can't quite believe how full the studio is, because once I've filmed a box, there's all English Library. Once I've filmed a box, I'm getting it packed away here in the library, grouped with the other ones from the same series. And certainly there was somewhat more Pelicans than I was expecting. And to be honest, I left 2 boxes behind, so there could have been even more. few slightly later ISBN ones here, but that's okay. It's a great book, that. It's yeah, really nice copy of that one as well. I've just pulled a nice one from the 70s collection, but it's a good one all the same. Yeah, so a few of these are going into the realms of ISBN. That's a bit beaten up, sadly. Not to worry. I'm afraid that's too far gone. The Parkers are good. Billy Liar on the Moon. Well, what a final box. As I said, we'll do a little tour of the studio in a minute, and I think you'll be quite surprised at how it all looks. That's a great book. Was that the first? Surely that's not the first time that was published, is it? Yeah, it was in paperback. See, Penguin had done him earlier than that. Maigret. Afraid, apparently. That's a late classic. Slipping in there. All good. Last little stack. It's a shame for it to come to an end, isn't it? But everything comes to an end eventually. And this collection is no exception. So there we go. That is all the books. Look at that. That's all the books from the Penguin Barn Find. Whew, crazy. Right, let's have a look around the studio. Okay, so to the right of me where I'm sitting now, this is the these little squares full of crime books on the whole. Those are ones which have been sorted into their respective 100s, ready for cleaning. That was from the crime collection from a couple of weeks back. Then over here, this is the Puffins, and there must be 8 or 9 stacks there. And each stack's got 50 to 75 books in, I reckon. And they're predominantly Puffin story books with the picture Puffins on top. The Puffin picture books I've already got last time. So they're looking pretty good. They're all out the way over there, ready to be processed. So that's a pile of king penguins ready to be cleaned. The king penguins from the collection. So top 2 piles there at the back are penguin handbooks. And then the rest of it is all pelicans. And as you can see, the stacks are very, very high. Absolutely mad. So there's several hundred Pelican books there. But that's not all, because then just here is the Penguin main series. So under the table here, just in stacks on the floor. Now those stacks now go back about eight deep. And each stack has got, what, 40 books in? 40 to 50 books. Something like that. And that's predominantly main series Penguin books. From numbers 1000 to 3000. Then towards the back, similar sort of piles with classics. Got Penguin plays on the floor. Got poetry. Other series that we've got going on. More main series here. Miscellaneous stuff. That's all at the back. Is all like B format and larger things as well. So crazy, crazy stuff. And I've got a lot of work ahead of me. This is going to take about 1 year to actually go through and process properly. So can't wait to get started. So there you go, guys. I hope you've enjoyed looking around this latest lot of the barn find. Now, if there is anything that you've seen here today and you think, oh, I'd love to get my hands on that copy, just drop me an email. It could be a few months yet, but I have got a separate folder where I'm keeping all my vintage penguin wants that people are looking for. And as I come across it over the next few months, I'll put those books to one side and then I'll be in contact eventually. And hopefully I'll have some books for you. Anyway, thank you very much for watching today. I really, really do hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks once again for Bill for entrusting me with his collection and also for taking that time to have a quick chat with us. If you've enjoyed today's video, do please give it the thumbs up. Do please hit the subscribe button if you've not already for regular vintage penguin and other paperback publisher content. And I'll look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.